Hello folks and welcome back to the Shack. This is Joe N2DI coming to you today with the next installment on my NanoVNA series, measuring SWR. I've had a surprising number of subscribers ask for video on measuring SWR, which was a bit surprising to me because there's no shortage of videos like that on YouTube land. I assumed that you'd want to see more unusual measurements with the NanoVNA, but nonetheless I'm here to help. So if you're brand new to SWR measurements or you're a little fuzzy on the topic, or maybe you just want to hear it again to reinforce what you've learned so far, then here we go. I'm going to go through how to set up the NanoVNA display and how to calibrate it for SWR measurements. If you know how to calibrate, then just skip that chapter, okay? I hope this helps, so let's get started. As I release more of these videos on the NanoVNA, I hope the pattern that you use to make these measurements becomes clearer so you don't have to think about it anymore. They're all almost basically the same. What you want to do is set the frequency range that you're going to test over, and then think about the type of measurement you're going to do. Is it an S1 measurement, meaning is it a reflection measurement like you're measuring SWR, or is it an S21 through type measurement where you're testing through a device like a filter or an attenuator or a piece of coax or something like that? And then the next step would be set the display up to display the information that you want to see in a useful way. So for instance, if you're measuring SWR in an antenna, you're going to want to see obviously your trace show SWR. If you're measuring loss through a device, you're going to want to see log magnitude, something like that. Okay. And then you're going to calibrate the device, and then you're going to attach whatever you want, and you're going to take the measurement. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. Okay. So now what we have here are three of the calibration standards. So when we go through the calibration step, I'm going to refer to the open, the short, and the load. Okay, because we're doing an S11 measurement, we only need to do those first three steps in the calibration. So when I refer to the open, I'm talking about this one here with no pin in the center. Okay, then this is the short, which does have a pin in the center, and then the load, which is the usually off-colored one. It's usually a little bit larger. That's basically a 50 ohm resistor. Okay, that's your load. So when I refer to these, this is the open, the short, and the load. Okay, now we're back. The lights are dimmed and we're zoomed in so you get a better view. So step one, we're going to want to set the frequency range. What I'm going to be demonstrating on today is my end-fed half wave. Okay, this antenna is resonant on 40, 20, 15, and 10. So let's say we want to take a view of the entire antenna. Let's set the frequency range from say 7 megahertz to like 29.3 megahertz. So that would be the bottom of the 40 meter band all the way up to the top of the 10 meter band. So here we're going to tap the screen and we're going to click stimulus, start, 7 megahertz, tap it again, stop, 29.3 megahertz. Okay, so now we've set the frequency range. Okay, now the second step, we're going to set up the channel and the trace. So tap the screen, we're going to go back. Now we want to go to display. Now here we want the format to be an S11 reflection measurement because this is SWR. You want to make sure that it says channel S11 reflection. Okay, you could tap this. And I accidentally hit phase here, but this is showing you all of the ways you can represent the data, okay, that the scan will pick up. So here we're going to want SWR. Okay, and back. So we have an S11 scan, and the format is going to display SWR. Now we're going to want to set up the scale. Tap scale. Now this is going to set up the scale in this grid here. So you see the bottom is going to be 1 and the top is going to be 3. We're going to set the division for each one of these grid squares. So hit scale / division and we're going to do 0.25. Now you could set this to whatever you want. I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to hit show grid values. Okay. So here the bottom of the chart will be a 1-to-1 SWR. Then the first grid line will be 1 to 1.25, then 1.5. 1.75, 2, and so on. So all the way up at the top of the scale will be an SWR of 3. Now, if you're measuring your antenna and the line gets pegged to the top of the screen, that means your SWR is at least 3 or higher. So you could change the scale if you want to say like your SWR to 10 or something like that if you're using a random wire or whatever. But this is a resonant antenna, so I'm going to set this from 1 to 3. So we have the frequency set. We're doing an S11 measurement. We've set the scale. Now we're going to do the calibration. So we're going to tap on the screen. We're going to back. We're going to go to calibrate. Then we're going to reset. This will wipe out all the settings that you have currently saved in the memory right now. Okay. And then we're going to do the calibration again. Calibrate. We're going to start with the open. I'm going to screw the open on. Tap open. Watch that little bar go. Once it finishes, we can move on. Next one is the short. Okay. Tap short. There we go. And the next one is the load. Okay, and we can stop there because we're doing a reflection test. So now what you're going to want to do is save the setting. So I'm going to hit done. And I'm going to find the slot where I'm going to save it. So I'll save it to this slot. I'll overwrite what's here. Okay, so that's it. We're done with the calibration. Okay, so now we're ready to take our SWR measurement. So I'm going to attach my coax to the NanoVNA. Now this is going to my NFET half wave, which should be resonant on 4 bands. Okay, let me try to center this in the screen. All right, so here you go. So what do we have now? We have this line that is showing you the SWR dips from 7 megahertz to 29.3 megahertz. Now, this little tab that you have here, let me move it into the center of the screen. This little marker, this guy right here, this is going to show you your specific frequency that the marker is at, and it's going to show you the SWR. So right here at this frequency, 14.85805, I believe. I can't really see too good in the monitor. And the SWR is 1.25 and change, okay, right at this point. So the marker has sort of shortcuts built into it. And you have multiple markers. Let's go back here, go to the marker menu. And we're going to want to search for the minimum because we want to see the low point in the SWR. So it's going to find the minimum right by where the marker is right there. So in this case, the low point is 1.026 at around 14.136 megahertz. So kind of close to the center of the 20 meter band. Okay. Now you can search left or right for low points for the other frequencies. So let's search left. I tap it a couple of times and there it is. It's in the 40 meter band now. So let's look. So it says the SWR is 1.2 at 7.167 megahertz. And now we can also search right. Just tap it a few times and it'll move over to the 15 meter band. So the SWR is 1.027 at 21.272 megahertz and so on. Okay, now it's important to note that you're looking at a pretty wide range of frequencies, right? You're looking from 7 megahertz to 29.3 megahertz. Now you only have 401 scan points. Okay, so each one of those scan points is going to be divided over that entire space. So you're going to have something like a scan point every 50 kilohertz. So this is not going to be super granular, right? You're not going to get a huge amount of resolution here because the scan is so wide. This is just an idea to get a ballpark of what the entire antenna looks like. So now if you want to get an accurate measurement, you're going to want to set your start and stop frequencies to, let's say, the entire 20 meter band and use all 401 of those scan points across the 20 meter band. Okay. So in that case, what you would do is set your start and stop frequency to say 14.0 megahertz and 14.350 megahertz or something thereabout, maybe a little bit below the band, a little bit above the band. If you're working on an antenna and maybe you're slightly, your resonance point is slightly one way or the other. So calibrate for that size and then redo a scan. And then you'll get a more accurate view of what your SWR plot looks like over that band. Now, I've already calibrated for the 4 bands here, so you don't have to watch me go through the calibration process. But let's just take a quick look at what the bands look like now. So I'm going to recall my calibration, hit recall. And then here I have my 40 meter. So this goes from 7 megahertz to 7.3 megahertz. So let's recall that and take a look. Okay, now so you can see with this second division, this is 1.5 SWR. I'm pretty much under 1.5 SWR across the entire band. I can move the marker to the low point. I can either search or I can move the little jog wheel at the top here and slide it around. So around, I don't know, here-ish, 1.171 looks like the low point, and that's 1.274 is the SWR. Okay, all the way at the bottom of the band, we're at 1.484, and all the way at the top of the band, we're at 1.397. Okay, let's look at 20 meters. So we will call 20 meters. And here at the bottom of the band, I'm at 1.27. Thereabouts is the dip, 1.015 SWR at 14.149 megahertz. And at the top of the band, we're at 1.396. So you get the idea. If you're curious, let's look at 15. 15 is good, under 1.5. Ten is not so great. 10 is a very wide band. At the bottom, I'm over 2 to 1. I'm about 2.1 at the bottom of the band. The dip is a little high. Dip is around 28.8 megahertz. And at the top of the band, my SWR is 1.75. So not great. I have to use my tuner when I'm using the CW portion, but that's fine. Okay, so that's how you would do an SWR measurement. Okay, now we're back with the lights on for story time. There's a couple of things that weren't explained to me as a new ham, and I just want to mention them. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but just in case you don't, new hams sometimes are confused whether or not they should measure the SWR of the antenna with the coax attached. And you definitely should, because you're going to want to see what your SWR is through the entire antenna system, which includes your coax. So basically what you want to do is attach the NanoVNA to more or less the point where you would attach the radio. Now, if you have an antenna tuner is going to, if your antenna is not resonant, it's going to add inductance or capacitance to make up for it to match the impedance so it looks like it's 50 ohms. You don't want to scan through your antenna tuner because it's just going to give you a fake representation or a false representation of what the antenna looks like. So if you have an antenna tuner, disconnect the coax from it and do the scan before you get to the antenna tuner. Okay, so for instance, you see that when we did the scan of my 10 meter band, it was higher. It was around 2.0 at the bottom of the band. So I need a tuner in that case. But you want to get an accurate representation of what the antenna is actually presenting to you. So you're going to want to scan with the coax to the antenna, but not including the antenna tuner. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, the other important thing you should do, and this is why we're it's story time, is because, I learned this the hard way, is you're going to want to scan your coax to see what kind of loss you're getting through it. Okay? I released a video just before this one that shows you how to take that measurement. You're going to want to see over the frequency range that you use. And so if, like for HF, you're going to want to scan from 0 to 30 megahertz or whatever. What is your loss in the cable over that frequency range? Now, my first antenna was a multiband dipole. It was a fan dipole. And I spent a tremendous amount of time painstakingly tuning this dipole with the antenna analyzer I had at the time and the coax I had at the time. I didn't have a lot of money to invest in ham radio at the time, and I was using an old piece of crappy coax, and I didn't know it was old and crappy. Well, I knew it was old. I didn't know it was crappy. I attached it to the antenna. I measured for resonance. You know, I cut the antenna so it was perfectly centered in all the bands. And then later on, I was able to afford a good piece of LMR 400. So then I took off the old crappy coax, I attached the new coax, and then I scanned the antenna again, and it was a mess, right? It was completely not resonant where I was expecting it to be. It took me a very long time to understand what the problem was. And the problem was that the coax was so bad, there was so much loss in it, that I wasn't getting any reflected power back. Now, SWR measurement is you're sending power down the coax to the antenna, and if the antenna is resonant, that energy is going to get absorbed. And the frequencies where it's not getting absorbed, it's not resonant, so it's going to reflect back to you. But if the coax is bad, that energy is not making it back to the analyzer, you're not going to see that reflection. So it's going to look like your antenna is fine. But in reality, what's happening is all the power is dying inside your coax. And that's exactly what happened to me. So I guess let that be a lesson to you, right? Scan your coax and then attach it to your antenna and then do your SWR measurements. Okay, folks, I hope that was helpful. Maybe I clarified some of the areas that were fuzzy regarding SWR measurements with the NanoVNA for you. I think I'm going to release one more video on the NanoVNA series where we look at measuring things like bandpass filters and attenuators. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap it up. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get back to them as soon as I can. So from the Shack of Joe, November 2 Delta India, I wish you all good health and a 1-to-1 SWR. Bye-bye.